Way out there. I mean, far beyond our satellites. In the quietest, most hostile place imaginable. A silent struggle is unfolding. Yeah, it's a super high stakes competition for control. And believe it or not, it's happening right now in deep space. And this quote, man, it just captures the whole thing perfectly. We're not talking about a conflict with traditional weapons here. This is a war of pure innovation. The real weapons, they're the smartest minds on the planet and the most advanced tech you can dream up. And they're all competing for what comes next for humanity, way out beyond our sky. So, what are we even talking about when we say deep space? Well, think of it as the place where all the rules of our world just stop. Once you get past the protective bubble of our sun, you're in a universe of just raw cosmic hostility. There's no GPS to tell you where you are, no atmosphere to shield you from anything, and absolutely zero room for error. No second chances out there. Okay, so this incredibly unforgiving environment, that's the stage for a whole new kind of space race. But you gotta forget that old, simple, two-sided Cold War picture. Today's competition is way more complex. It's multi-layered. You've got nations, sure, but also private companies, all trying to get their own foothold in the cosmos. And here it is. This is basically our global chessboard. And just look at the different ambitions we've got going on. The US is all in on the Artemis program, and they're building these powerful deep space communication networks. China, they're making some really strategic moves, targeting the far side of the moon and going after critical asteroid resources. At the same time, you've got countries like Japan and India focusing on pure scientific discovery, while the private giants, well, they're just completely changing the game, right? They're pushing innovation faster and making deep space more accessible than it's ever been. So, if this is a competition, where is it actually being fought? It's not like you can pull up a map and point to a location. No, these battlefields are technological, they're strategic, and they are absolutely fundamental to just surviving out there. All right. The first and, you could argue, the most critical battleground is communication. I mean, just think about it for a second. If you lose contact with your multi-billion-dollar probe, what is it? It's just a ghost ship, a useless piece of space chunk. So maintaining that incredibly fragile, invisible link across billions of kilometers, that's everything. And to put this into perspective, get this. A signal that finally reaches a probe out near Jupiter is 13 times billion times weaker than your Wi-Fi at home. It's like trying to hear the tiniest whisper during a hurricane. It's almost nothing. And that's why nations are in this frantic race to build the technology that can actually hear it. So how do you win a battle of whispers? Well, you build bigger ears, right? Like these massive antenna arrays designed to catch the faintest possible signals. Or you shout louder, using powerful lasers to focus data into these tight, intense beams. And you have to keep perfect time with ridiculously precise quantum clocks, so you know exactly when and where to listen for that tiny whisper. I mean, this is the absolute cutting edge of signal science. But what are they even communicating about? You know, it's not just about data and cool discoveries anymore. The next huge strategic battlefield is all about wealth. Real, tangible, off-world resources that could literally reshape our entire global economy. So is this the new gold rush? The answer is absolutely yes. But instead of sailing ships across the ocean, we're sending robotic prospectors into the void. And we're not looking for new continents, we're looking at asteroids. And the potential prize here is just staggering. We are not talking about a few $billion. We are talking about trillions of dollars in stuff like platinum, nickel, and cobalt, metals we need for all our modern tech, just floating out there. The nation that figures out how to unlock that treasure chest first, they could gain an economic advantage that's almost impossible to imagine. And please, don't mistake this for some far-off science fiction. Just look at this timeline. The race is already on. Japan has already brought back asteroid samples. Right now, as we speak, NASA's Psyche mission is out there testing deep space mining tech. And looking to the future, China is openly making plans for robotic asteroid miners. This isn't a dream, it's really happening. But you know, maybe the most intense battlefield of all isn't against another country. It's the war against the environment itself. Deep space is actively, constantly trying to destroy every single thing we send into it. Yeah, this really shows the constant arms race we're in. On one side, you've got the enemy, cosmic radiation that just shreds electronics, insane temperature swings, and this dust of micrometeoroids that can rip right through metal. And on the other side, that's our armor, special radiation-hardened chips, advanced heat shields, and even self-repairing spacecraft. It is a brutal, non-stop battle between the laws of physics and pure human ingenuity. And this constant battle for survival leads to a massive problem. And the problem is, light itself is just too slow. Seriously, with communication delays that can be minutes or even hours long, a human back on Earth just can't fly a spacecraft through a crisis. By the time we even see there's a problem, it's already too late. So what's the solution? Well, we have to take humans out of the driver's seat. We have to create an AI astronaut, a machine that can literally think for itself, detect dangers we didn't expect, perform its own repairs, and make critical decisions without any help from Earth, all on its own, millions of miles from home. And let me tell you, the race to perfect this kind of AI is every bit as intense as the space race itself. So with all this competition, all this technological warfare, you gotta ask, what's the ultimate prize here? What are we as a species really fighting for out there in the silent dark? Really, it all boils down to the two biggest, most profound questions we can possibly ask. First, are we alone in the universe? And second, can humanity actually survive beyond this one fragile planet? Every single probe, every mission we launch is another small step toward finally answering those massive questions. And that's exactly why this matters so much. The tech being built right now, the resources being claimed, the knowledge we're gathering, this isn't just for dusty science reports. No, these are the actual building blocks for humanity's long-term survival. Whoever wins this silent struggle gets to be the one who lays the foundation for that future. When you think about it, this really represents a whole new kind of global power. The victors of this era won't be the nations with the biggest armies. They'll be the ones with the most powerful telescopes, the most resilient spacecraft, and the clearest signals coming back from the void. Which leaves us with one final and really crucial question. In this vast, unclaimed territory, a place where the old rules of Earth just don't apply, who gets to decide what's fair? Who writes the laws for this new frontier? That is the big unanswered question at the very heart of this silent struggle for deep space.